All right, here's a quick little lesson that's focused on practicing. It also focuses on utilizing the circle of fours pattern while you practice. What that means is the circle of fours, which is on your screen there, as you can see, it kind of goes through all 12 keys in a particular pattern. It's moving 1/4 at a time. So what that means is if we started in the key of C, we'll do our roll pattern or whatever we're practicing. You can practice a lick, a roll pattern, or just your chord. Just kind of learning where the chords are. So if we're just doing the chord, I'd hit it on my C chord, the 5th fret. Then I'm going to go a 4th away from C, which will be F. Right? And then after F, I'm going to go a 4th away from F, a perfect 4th, which would be B flat. Then I go a 4th away from B flat, E flat, right? And so on and so on. And what this does is, like I said, it gets through all 12 keys, and it's a continuous pattern. And you'll have that order in front of you. That image that popped up on the screen will be something you can download if you need to. But what we can really do that, we can practice like our roll patterns, for example. You could come up with a roll pattern or one that you already know. I have one as an example that you can download as well. But what you can do, I have a backing track as well that will come with the lesson when you download it. You can practice along with that backing track, and I believe it's I hang on each chord for 4 or 8 measures at a time. And you can just kind of practice that roll pattern, and you'll end up getting through all 12 keys. And a lot of the keys you might not be too familiar with, like you might get the B flat, E flat, D flat, G flat, F sharp, same thing there. And it'll kind of get you to where you can kind of learn the fretboard, get used to recognizing those chords faster. But what it also does, since it's a continuous pattern, is it allows, like, whatever you're working on, rolls for example, your right hand's not going to stop until you're at the end of that pattern. And the more, in my opinion, the more repetitions you can kind of get for that right hand to kind of get used to these finger picks, and just getting used to hitting particular strings on purpose, the more you can do with that without totally having to focus on it, the quicker your right hand starts to get maybe a mind of its own, and you can just kind of trust it over time. Okay, so one example you could kind of do, just working with the circle of fours. Like I mentioned before, there are multiple things you can accomplish by doing this while getting fretboard knowledge at the same time. Kind of maybe a good first approach, if you don't know where all your chords are or the name of your chords throughout the neck, it might be a good idea just to kind of play whole notes of the chord while you're going through, maybe with the backing track, and just kind of playing all your chords, all your major chords in 12 keys. I'll go ahead and show you what that would sound like. Yeah, so that would kind of keep going. You would just kind of proceed through the rest of the circle of fours that way, just kind of getting used to where your chords are on the neck. You'll be able to get that from the tab with the roll pattern that I have on there. Whatever fret that roll pattern is on, that's where your chord is. So yeah, going to that roll pattern, I'll go ahead and just kind of show you what pattern I picked. You can really, I mean, the options are almost not quite endless, but there are a lot of options. You can pick any roll pattern you want and do it over these chords, and to really work your right hand and to keep it going, right? What am I doing there. I'm going thumb, thumb, and then index on the third. So thumb on the 6th, thumb on the 4th string, index on the 3rd, and then thumb on that 4th string again. The middle finger on that 2nd string. That's followed by just thumb, index, ring on strings 4 through 2. Right? A little bit, just more of a picking pattern. Yeah, for example, if you wanted to do a roll pattern, you can pick any 3 strings you want and do your thumb, index, middle. You know, you could kind of do that twice if you wanted to. And then index, middle. Kind of more of your traditional forward roll, or you could go thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index. You know, you could do that through through the whole cycle as well. But I just kind of picked this one. For no particular reason. But I'll go ahead, I'm going to show you what that sounds like through the circle of force. And also, if it's too fast, I'll show you how you just kind of, you know, you'll just kind of break it down to half speed with your pattern. Alright, so that's kind of the idea. Again, that might be a little quick. So what we can do is we can kind of cut our pattern in half, right? So I'm just going to give you an example of the first 2 or 4 chords of the exercise at the slower speed for the pattern. Yeah, so in that version, what we're doing from the tab is we're playing half as much basically. That way, it allows us to kind of really slow down our pattern. and it may be a little easier to kind of play with, but the idea is to work out to that kind of double that, right? So just to kind of build up speed. That's, like I said before, one great thing about playing along and following the order of the circle of force is it doesn't stop until you get to the end, right? So that should kind of always be the goal of your exercise. If you start it, make sure you finish it, and that'll keep your hand kind of playing for a consistent amount of time to where you can kind of build up endurance and really get that right hand going.